is looking pretty clear here. So again, good evening, everyone. My name is Miss Spurgeon. I am the college advisor at Dudley High School, and I will be the host this evening or the presenter this evening. And I have a bunch of co-hosts with me and partners, which I'll get to in the next slide. But before we get into that, I just wanted to remind you all to please abide by our webinar etiquette, which is to mute yourself as you enter in. If you have any questions, please just place them in the chat or just save it into the Q&A at the end. So if you fail to abide by our expectations, you will be removed from this webinar this evening. All right. So these are our partners this evening. Again, I am one of the representatives for the Carolina College Advising Corps. I'm the college advisor at Dudley. There are some of my co-advisors on here, and I'll just let them briefly introduce themselves to you.
Hi, everyone. I am Miss Lutz, and I am the college advisor at High Point Central. And I believe that there are other advisors on here as well.
Yep, two more. We have Frank. If you want to just say hello.
All righty. Well, I guess I'll say a quick little piece. I'm Mr. Frank Adams, and I am the college advisor at Ben L. Smith High School.
All right. And then we have Alexis as well. She wants to say hello. All right, I don't know. I know she was on here, but that's fine. So our other partners are going to be Gifford County Schools. So we have Dr. Clinton Wilson on here if he wants to say hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm Clinton Wilson. I serve as the supervisor of high school counseling. I look forward to hearing what we're talking about tonight.
All right, and then we have Say Yes Guilford. We have Warshay Downing and Ms. Brandy Kennedy on tonight as well.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in with this gloomy weather outside. So thank you all for tuning in on behalf of Say Yes Guilford. And my name is Brandy Kennedy, and I serve as the Assistant Director of Student Outreach and Post-Secondary Access. And if you haven't already, be sure to do your Say Yes application.
Yes, love that. And then we have our CFNC partners, which is Ms. Tequila, which I don't think she is with us on here tonight, but we are glad to have her as a partner.
Oh, hi, everybody. I'm Warshay Downing.
Oh, Warshay, there you go.
That's all right. I'm Warshay from Say Yes Guilford, Director of Data and Post-Secondary Success. As Brandy said, and as Ms. Spurgeon mentioned as well, we are glad to have you on tonight's session. We look forward to seeing all the great things. So thank you.
Thank you for that, Warshay. Sorry for skipping you there. All right, so let's get into what we're talking about tonight. I will not hold you on for too long. I know the weather and the storm and stuff is tough, so hopefully we'll get this done before somebody's Wi-Fi kicks out. So we'll be talking about what is next after you are accepted to college. So that's, hence the name, Accepted Now What in this series. And I kind of condensed it down to 5 easy steps. So you don't have too much to think about. You can think of these 5 categories when you're moving on, after you've been accepted to college. So the first thing you'll want to do is go ahead and accept your offers. So you got your acceptances in, really exciting time, but now what you want to do is make sure you go in, and I put an example here of where you can go and accept that, view your decision and accept it. This is an example of those portals you create when you're applying to the schools. So you'll want to go in, they'll put right at the top so you can see it. Your admission decision is available to view online. You'll click on it to view that acceptance. As if you've been accepted, you know that. If you look to the right here, I just put some reminders of when you applied, what decisions were binding and which ones were not, just for a reminder, because I know at least my kids have a hard time remembering, which ones are binding and which ones are not. But these are just important to note, because when you are accepting those offers, if you did a binding decision, you need to go ahead and move forward with that. The only one that's binding is early decision. So if you did apply early decision that was binding, they're expecting you to go ahead and pay your deposit. If you applied through any other like admission, submitted your application in any other terms or times, like restrictive early action, regular decision, or rolling admissions, those are all non-binding. So the college is not expecting you to, enroll, or it's not binding. You're not committed just yet until you pay their deposits. So again, I just wanted to really reiterate those terms so how your next steps will kind of be shaped from there, whether your decision is binding or not. So I have a few examples on this next slide here of after you click your decision or your acceptance letter, where you can go in and like what the next step is immediately after you get your acceptance letter. So they'll tell you here, like if you look at this page here where it's highlighted in the pink or red color, that's part of the acceptance letter, and they go ahead and have an area there where they say to accept your offer of admission and become whatever that school's mascot is, or however they say it. They'll have a link for you to click to go ahead and confirm that you accept their offer of admission. And then you really have until May 1st to respond to those offers. So there's no rush on it. But what my recommendation is for those non-binding colleges is to go ahead and accept those offers, even if you're not sure which college you want to go into, because it's not binding until you pay that deposit, so it won't hurt you. But also a lot of colleges put a rush on packages for students who accept their offers. So say you leave it unaccepted, they don't say this, but they're going to take their time to get you your financial award package back. So the students who went ahead and accepted their offer, they usually get their packages back first. So that's a little hack I tell my kids: go ahead and accept all of those non-binding college offers so you can get your package back. And I know some colleges, like maybe a few, I can think off the top of my head, UNC, Chapel Hill, and NC State, they usually get their packages back pretty quickly to everyone since they release all their decisions at once. So you don't really have to accept your offer that soon. But some colleges who kind of drag their feet, you do want to go ahead and accept their offer of admission so they can get you your financial aid package back in time for you to make a decision. So these are just some examples of, when you go into that college portal, how you can go in and click to accept the offer of admission. As you can see here, there was no deposit paid. So again, you do not have to pay your deposit. This is just so you can get your financial aid award back. All right, so step 2. So step 1 was accept your offers. Step 2 is go ahead and activate your student accounts and emails. So the account you saw on the first page was not the student account. That was just where you tracked your application and everything like that, if you submitted all your items. Now, once you're accepted, you need to go ahead and activate your actual college student account with that college you've been accepted to. So they'll typically send you an email like this with all of the information in there on how to go ahead and set up your student account with them. So I just took a little screenshot of what they usually give you is your student ID number, your student email address for their college, your password, if they have an initial password for you to go in there and set it up. But they'll give you everything you need to activate their account. So you'll need to go ahead and do that, because in that student account, that is where all of your financial aid awards, everything about housing, just everything about being a college student, it will come up in your college student account, even when you enroll for classes and everything like that. They usually have one central college student portal because everything is digital now. So make sure you want to go ahead and do that, follow those email instructions. So this is another big thing, which I have to remind my students all the time. Please check your emails. Do not ignore those emails, y'all, because once you apply to college, that is their primary mode of communication at this point. They're going to be sending everything to your email. And as you see, like every step I have on here features email in some way. So you really need to be on your top of your email, because they are literally going to send you the instructions on what to do next through there first. Okay, so activate those student accounts. All right, and step 3 is kind of optional. It really depends on if you were flagged for verification or not. So to check and see if you were flagged, so this is after you completed your FAFSA, of course, but to check and see if you were flagged for verification, you could just log into your FAFSA, view your student aid report or SAR, and if you have an asterisk next to your EFC, which usually shows at the top, then that means you were flagged for verification. If you were indeed flagged for verification, you will know by doing that first, but also the colleges that you've been accepted to will send you an email and update in your student college portal. If you look at this example on the right, they will tell you exactly what they need for verification for you. So you'll want to, again, that's why in step 2, you got to activate your student account. But once you get in there, they'll show you all the documents that they want you to turn in order for you to get your financial aid award back. So if you don't complete verification and you were flagged for it, you're not going to get a package. So you want to make sure you're up to date on that. Again, they will list out everything you need. Some examples may be like your parents' tax document if they didn't use the data retrieval tool on the FAFSA, maybe the student verification of non-filing form, anything like that. But I can't tell you, everybody's situation is different, so you really need to check your college portal to see what they're asking you for. I will say, just a note at the top here is that if they do ask you for parent documents like a tax form or anything like that, just make sure it has a parent signature on it, or just a signature on it in general, because it will slow down the process if it's not signed. They will just ask you again for the same document signed. So just before you turn everything in, if you're doing verification, make sure that the copy of your tax return or your W-2, whatever, it is a signed copy. Okay. All right, step 4. So we're really almost through this. I hope I'm not going through it too fast. And if I see y'all's questions, I don't mind going back to any slide. So this is step 4, is this comparing your financial aid award. So once you've, not my mouse. So once you've activated those student accounts, did your verification, you will get your financial aid awards back. So these are examples of some financial aid awards that are pretty recent. And I won't get into it too much because I know we have another session where we're going to break down the financial aid awards further, but just so you all know what to kind of expect, or to know what a financial aid award looks like, I wanted to go ahead and show y'all these. So usually in a financial aid award package, you can expect to see the complete cost of attendance for that college that year. You'll also see whether or not, you got the school counted you as a in-state North Carolina resident. So if you don't remember what residency is or how to get the in-state classification, we did that in a few sessions back, but it's just going through the NC residency from the CFNC website and completing that so that you get in-state. If you're, I would say if you're looking at an in-state public school, if it's anywhere 30,000 or anything above 30,000, really, they probably flagged you as out-of-state, because in-state public schools are usually between like $20,000 and $30,000 a year. So you really shouldn't see more than that if you are in-state resident. So again, they're going to give you that total cost of attendance. And they're also going to pull your EFC that's directly from your FAFSA. So please do your FAFSA if you haven't already. The priority deadline for that is March 1st. So please do that. It's coming up soon. So they're going to pull all this stuff in directly from your FAFSA. They'll pull in Pell Grants if you qualify for those, state grants, loans, and there's different types of loans, subsidized, unsubsidized, Parent Plus. We talked about that in another session as well. Please watch those videos if any of this language I'm saying is foreign to you. But yeah, this is just an example of that, the complete breakdown of a package. So please, 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 again, follow all these steps that I just mentioned before so that you can get your packages back from all of those schools that you applied to. Then, by this time, usually in March, a bulk of those packages come back. You can be sitting down and comparing which college maybe gave you a little bit more money or a little bit more scholarship, a little bit more grant. Because some colleges, as you can see in these packages, these students have the same EFC, but very different financial aid packages. And that's because some colleges just have a little bit more money to give. So that is why you want to be able to compare your financial aid awards before you make a decision, because even though you're the same person with the same EFC, the college may not give you the same amount of money, just because, every college doesn't have the same amount of money to give. All right. And then step 5 is going to be paying your deposit. So again, like I mentioned in step 1, you can go ahead and accept those offers of admission, but you do not have to pay your deposit till May 1st. May 1st is the official decision day. That's when, once your deposit is paid, everything is official at that point, to reserve your spot for that institution. And then really the next steps after that is going to occur from May through July. And that's going to be signing up for orientation at that college you paid your deposit at, that you're planning to go to in the fall. You're going to do orientation or sign up for it, go ahead and do your housing. And usually sometimes that has a fee as well. You're going to submit your immunization and health history. They do need that for universities. And then your final transcript is usually due in late June or July after you graduate, of course. So just make sure you are letting your high school know who you want to send your final transcript to. If you did send your transcripts through CFNC, then I know they automatically send a final transcript, but just for good measure, you can just have your high school, make sure they send it again. Usually it should be free for high school schoolers anyway to send their transcripts. So just make sure that is done so that your spot is still secure. They do need that final transcript. And then health insurance is required to go to a 4-year institution. So if you have your own health insurance, they'll just have you waive it. There'll be a spot on your student account to waive it. If you do not have health insurance, then they will make you just enroll in theirs. Meal plan, usually that is optional, so up to you. And then the last part is just continuing to check your emails in your student account daily. So I cannot stress that enough, y'all. Like, email is literally the first mode of communication for every single college. It does not matter. They are going to contact you by email first. Even scholarships, they're going to contact you by email first. So please check your emails every day starting now. I tell my students at least twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. But really, if you get a lot of traffic and you apply to a lot of colleges, you want to check it more often than that. So those are pretty much my 5 simple steps. I hope it wasn't very confusing. And if y'all have any questions about any of this, which I think I did see some in the chat, I do not mind answering those. Let's see. Yep, so that's pretty much all I had to present. 5 easy steps, not too much, I hope, right? Okay, so I do see only one in the chat here. Okay, so someone says they still haven't filed their FAFSA yet. Would it be too late to apply if they have already been accepted into a school? No, so FAFSA's priority deadline is March the 1st. So it's not too late to apply. Please complete it as soon as possible. Even if you don't make the March 1st date, it's okay to still apply. It's just that by March 1st, that's when those colleges are going to be allocating all of those state grants. So you want to be in that pot. You want to be in that pot to get considered for all of those, like NC Lottery, NC SEOG. You want to be in that pot, and that priority deadline is March 1st. So please, try to get the March 1st date if possible. And thank you. I'm glad that was very clear and helpful for you. How does Say Yes program work into the financial aid award for the colleges that we are accepted to? So any Say Yes representatives want to answer that one?
Sure. So we're going to drop a link to the Say Yes information session into the chat with the Say Yes session that we recorded that will help out many students and parents. Overall, the application opened October 1st of the student's senior year. And then go to sayyesguilford.org to find out more details. In the meantime, we'll entertain any more questions that are directed to Ms. Spurgeon.
All righty. Okay. Let's see, any more questions in the chat? Oh, I did see another one. Hold on. What is the average rate to apply to colleges? So I'm going to try to make sense of that question. What I hope, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I think you're saying is I guess the average amount of colleges to apply to. So my recommendation on how many colleges you should apply to is between 5 to 6. Because you want a good amount of options because they can give you a different amount of money, but you don't want too many because that's going to be a lot to sort through and just gets overwhelming. So I would say 5 to 6 is a good amount to give you a different amount of options. And through that, I would say do a match and fit. So you want to get some reach schools, which are a little bit above your GPA, some match schools, which are right there with your GPA, and then some safety schools, which are, schools that are below, typically accept students who have GPAs below yours, be pretty good for you, or pretty likely for you to get in, I guess is the term I would use. So I hope that answered that question.
And I see we have a few more questions. So I did just drop the link into the chat with the Say Yes Guilford information session, which is about an 8-minute long overview. Our scholarship model has not changed since 2016. We changed it, and then it's been the same since 2017. So essentially, with that attachment that we provided, the scholarship handout, page 1 outlines the scholarship, the public university guidelines. If family income is above $100,000, there's no Say Yes award to a student going to a public university. And then page 2 outlines our private university model, which is not wholeheartedly based upon income. It's based upon a $75,000 household threshold. So if family income is under $75,000 and you're going to a private university, then select tuition and select fees are covered based upon the university you are attending. And those list of private universities are listed on page 2. And if family income is above $75,000, then there's a $5,000 choice grant. That is the brunt end of our scholarship model, but please check us out, sayyesguilford.org, and please see that scholarship handout as well. So thank you again for asking that question, but we are encouraging every high school senior to apply, sayyesguilford.org, regardless of if you feel you qualify or not, because, you know, and that's essentially it. So please feel free to email us at scholarship@sayyesguilford.org. And if there's any more questions for Ms. Desire, we can answer some more Say Yes questions at the very end.
All right, I do see a few more questions. What is the cost to apply? So if you're referring to college, they have different fees. Honestly, I cannot stick it to one. Some are free, some are as much as $100 to apply to. But if you qualify for fee waivers, you could, get to apply to colleges for free. You would just talk to your schools or your child's guidance counselor about, whether or not they qualify for fee waivers. So, it's just, it varies is the answer I would say for that. The FAFSA application is 100% free. You do not have to pay for that. So I recommend anybody who is interested in college, regardless of what your family income is like or what you think you will or will not get, please do the FAFSA application. I've had families that I've worked with think they're not going to get anything, and their student got back so much Pell Grant, they were like, wow, I'm glad I did this. So please do it. The application is free regardless, so you don't lose out on anything. So I hope that answers that question. Does every college or university offer merit scholarships? So to my knowledge, so far I have not met a college that has not offered some sort of scholarship. So it honestly is going to, whether or not your student qualifies or you qualify, is going to depend on, what their GPA ranges are for awarding merit scholarships and what your student's GPA is. So I would say that would kind of be what you want to look for, the question you want to ask, rather than, do they offer it? Because every college I've at least helped students with offers some sort of scholarships, yes. If you receive notification that your child is on a waiting list, does that mean they have met their enrollment requirements and probably not letting anyone else in? So no, what waiting list typically means is just that, like they're waiting. And honestly, it varies by school. So I know some schools put students on the waiting list if like they maybe have accepted at their limit and they think they have a good class size, but the students who they have accepted, they may have not decided to enroll yet. So they're waiting to see, how many students accept their offers of admission and they decide to enroll, and they may go ahead and pull into the wait list if their class size isn't as full as they thought. Some other schools do what is called deferring, and it's like they'll just wait to see, maybe their grade or their GPA average wasn't exactly what they were looking for, but it was close. So they're like, okay, just give us an updated transcript after this semester and we'll, reconsider. So it really depends. I would say wait list is just, the school is not saying no, it's not saying yes, but they're waiting to see a little bit more information, if that makes sense. Okay, a lot of application fees. Okay, so someone was answering for application fees. So yes, applications can be pricey, y'all. They really can. So my first line is really to say, hey, can you qualify for fee waivers? Because that's a lot of money to put out there for college applications, just to see if you even can get in. That's not, that's just to apply. So see if you qualify for fee waivers first. If not, then I would say, maybe again, five colleges is good if you want a few options. Now, I know some students are like, well, I know I want to go to this college. I know I'm gonna do the scholarships for this college, and that's their only college. But they're pretty much doing everything for that college and making sure they get the money to go as well, or maybe their families can't afford for them to go there. So yeah, just, use your best judgment with applying and paying those fees. So we have another say yes question, which we have answered. And someone did talk about free college application week. So yes, if there are any 11th graders on this call, free college application week does come around every year, usually around the same time in the fall. So if you're an 11th grader, you can prepare for that. If you know you're not going to qualify for fee waivers otherwise, or even if you do, that's a great week to take advantage of, to just apply to a bunch of North Carolina colleges and universities for free. Not every North Carolina college participates, but a good amount of them do. So I would say, be ready for that when your school is having, any type of opportunity for y'all to apply during that week. Please take advantage of it, because it is so, so helpful and alleviates that burden of paying for all those applications.
And I see another question in regard to Say Yes. Great question. So on page 2 of that handout, those are the private universities we partner with. And if they're not on the list, then that means that we're not partnering with them, and there is no contract or obligation for us to support the university or the student that's going there. You are more than welcome to go to any university you want to go to, but the partnership is based upon the contracts that we have and the scholarship obligations that we have with those universities. So for example, Elon University is a great college, but we're not partnered with them currently. So you can go there. We have many students that go there, but we don't provide the scholarship support. But we do have students at various colleges throughout the country. And so we're proud of them as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Warshay, for answering that. So we do have an 11th grader. Thank y'all for attending, 11th graders. We love preparing y'all early. So we're looking at 11th grader who is potentially going to graduate early. Congratulations. And should y'all go ahead and do the FAFSA now? So I will say this. You say your 11th grader is going to graduate early. However, this is how the FAFSA works. The FAFSA works for one academic year. So my question to you would be, is your 11th grader planning to go, start college the spring of 2022, or is she still planning to start college the fall of 2022? Because that's going to make the difference with FAFSA. The FAFSA, if she does FAFSA now, that will only be good for this fall, which is 2021, and next spring, which is 2022. So that's how long the FAFSA is good for. If she's not planning to go to college into the fall of 2022, then she would just have to do that FAFSA with her, regular class. So that will be, the deciding factor for that. And we do have another question about Say Yes for you, Warshay or Brandy. Someone wants to know, are there any other scholarships that Say Yes offers?
Yeah, so those are the scholarships that we offer, but we have a plethora of community resources. We have a scholarship information session, not just Say Yes, but in general, that talks about local scholarships, national and regional scholarships. We always encourage students to apply for various other scholarships. Look at the university to which you are applying. Various high schools and the counseling departments do a great job. And even our college advisors have newsletters out, or your particular high school may have a bulletin board, so to speak, of scholarship resources. So those are great resources for the community and students to utilize. We always encourage students that Say Yes Guilford is last dollar tuition. So we don't cover the overall cost of attendance. We only cover remaining tuition balance based upon the criteria, household income, and continuous enrollment. So we strongly encourage students to apply for other scholarships, and students have great success in that way. So I would encourage you, look at scholarships.com, fastweb.com, cfnc.org, College Foundation of North Carolina. There's a myriad of scholarship resources there. And also visit your local high school website and check out that counseling resource center, and or check with your individual high school counselor, because they get a lot of resources that we share through the community as well. So that's our recommendation, is to apply for other scholarships, because attending college can be quite expensive, but every little bit helps.
Yes, thank you, Warshay. I see a really good question about College Board requiring the same information that FAFSA provided. Thank you for bringing that up. I actually meant to include this on the slide. This is something called CSS Profile. Not every college requires it, and not many colleges require it. There are maybe, I believe, 6 colleges in North Carolina that require the CSS Profile, so that's not many colleges at all. However, the ones that do, so someone said Chapel Hill, yes, Chapel Hill is one of them who require the CSS Profile, and this is just another way for them to see where your family income is going. So I'll give you an example. So FAFSA is prior year, right? So they're not looking at this year. They're not seeing what has happened during COVID. They're not seeing, where your family's other income has been going, other than the questions that FAFSA has asked. However, CSS Profile digs a little bit deeper. CSS Profile is saying, well, you may not have qualified for such and such through FAFSA. However, we're going to take a little look and see where your family's money is going, such as if they have, medical bills or other expenses that they're paying for, that money is not coming into the house. So hopefully they can get you a little bit more money in your financial aid package. So that CSS Profile is actually a good thing. I have seen it worked in favor as a Chapel Hill alumni myself. I did have peers, who are a little bit more wealthy than me, or their families had a little bit more money than me. And, they didn't qualify for any Pell Grant when it came down to FAFSA. But when they did their CSS Profile, Chapel Hill was like, whoa, your family's money is going, a lot of their money is not coming in the house. We're going to give you some grants. So they were actually able to qualify for some free money that they would not have otherwise qualified just from doing FAFSA. So I would say CSS Profile is your friend. And if you do qualify for fee waivers, you can do the CSS Profile for free, because typically the CSS Profile costs $25 to do. However, if you qualify for the fee waiver for the SAT, you will qualify for the fee waiver for CSS Profile. So it'll just be free for you to do. Okay, and I see someone did go ahead and reply to where I was talking about completing the FAFSA for the early grad. So if she is wanting to go to GTCC in the spring of 2022, then yes, you would want to complete the FAFSA for this year as well, because that would, be that FAFSA for that one academic year. So you do both this year's and next year's. And thank you. I do see CSS Guilford did respond to CSS Profile as well. Is it too late to apply for CSS Profile? No, but not every school requires that again. But it's not too late for that. How do you apply for it? So it's just through College Board. You can go through College Board and they do have a link that says CSS Profile. And again, like only 6 colleges in North Carolina require it. I believe it's Chapel Hill, Duke, Elon. I can't remember the other 3, but I know those 3 are participants. I think Wake Forest is on there. Yeah, it's Wake Forest. And then it's 2 more, but you can check and see. They do have the list, and they have the out-of-state schools that require it as well. When you click on that CSS Profile, they tell you all the schools who require it, so you know.
And I'd like to add something as well. Definitely check out your financial aid website. Make sure you check out your notifications and your to-do lists. Log it, like Ms. Spurgeon said, check your email, because many times, I cannot tell you how many times students don't check their email. And when they finally check it, they realize they were selected for verification, or they had financial aid to-do lists to complete.
Yes.
So make sure, you check your email and complete your task, and go to your online portal. If your college, like for example, I believe North Carolina A&T State University has a portal, right? When students are accepted, they have to log into it and they can see what their to-do list is. That would tell you right then and there if you have a CSS profile or whatever to complete. So that's very essential. And I think, yeah, that's it.
Yes, thank you. That everything, all of that. Yes. So I bug my students so much about, please check your emails. And when I do remind them, it's like typically a lot of students are like, Ms. Spurgeon, I should have listened. I have so many emails back there from these colleges. I had one student just last week told me she hadn't checked her email for weeks. She had a full ride scholarship sent in her email. I'm like, come on, y'all have to check these emails. Like, you are sleeping on stuff. You don't even know what's going on. And they're like, well, I'm checking my emails from now on to see the updates. So it's like, you can miss so much stuff if you don't check your emails. Scholarship committees, if you know you've been applying to scholarships and you're like, well, I haven't heard nothing, nobody has called me, they probably emailed you. I've had so many students telling me they made it to the interview round, and if they didn't check their email, they would have missed the interview. I had some students who did. And I'm like, I know good and well you didn't go through all this work to apply for scholarships, and because you didn't check your email, you're not even going to get it because you missed the interview. Like, they're not going to keep blowing you up like I do to my kids. So someone said they didn't get any grants. So I don't know what the question is for that, but I will say it's going to depend on which school, whether the grants, I mean, if you just did the FAFSA application initially and you didn't see any grants there, then they base that off of what your income was from 2019. However, if you've been impacted by COVID, that has hit a lot of people hard this year, feel free to talk to the universities. So I would say, a good measure is to see your financial aid package and see what's in that. But if you want to see now what you can do, don't feel afraid to contact those colleges financial aid offices. A lot of them have money to give, and usually people don't ask for it, but they will see what they can do. They may require a little bit more documentation, like say you were hit by COVID this year, or took a demotion at your job, or lost a job. Even I know a lot of people who have lost jobs. They will definitely take that into consideration. So do not feel afraid to reach out to that institution or institutions and say, hey, this has happened to us. We need some more money in our package, or we didn't qualify for any grants, but we don't have it. So talk to them. They will help you. They may just say, well, send us a W-2 from this month or this past month, or send us a letter saying you were laid off from work, or some sort of proof, and they can help you out. So don't feel afraid to do that. All right. Any other questions? Okay, I don't see any more questions coming in, but these were really good questions, y'all. I hope it's a lack of questions going on because, y'all just don't have no questions. Y'all understand. But if y'all don't understand, please let me know, because we do have a couple more minutes.
And I do want to interject something. Just so you all know, I wasn't being rude when I did not answer too much detail about Say Yes Guilford, but I wanted to give time to Miss Desire to talk about Accepted Now What, because we already did our Say Yes session, but we will be hosting probably another one just as time goes on a little bit further to answer commonly asked questions. So thank you all again for those questions. And you can email us at scholarship@sayyesguilford.org. So Ms. Spurgeon is all yours. I'm done. I think.
No problem. No problem. I do not mind sharing the floor at all. But yes, you may absolutely contact me later with questions. I actually have my contact information up here. Let me go to the next slide. So this slide here on the screen is just about our next webinar coming up next week. And this is going to be, it's not too late. So this session here, as you saw me talk about or heard me talk about, was the Accepted Now What. So this is for all my people who already applied, already been accepted, and they're looking at, okay, Ms. Spurgeon, what do I do next? I'm just sitting here, just sitting here, which a lot of my students say, and I'm like, it's okay, just wait for the colleges. But next time we're going to be talking about, it's not too late. So for all of my procrastinators who have not been applying, who have not been doing anything to this point, it is not too late for you to apply. And we'll be talking about what you can do for that next week. All right, so this is all of our contact information from all of the partners that we mentioned at the beginning of the presentation. My email is at the very top here, Ms. Spurgeon, desire@ad.unc.edu. If any of y'all have questions, please feel free to reach out to me via that. And I'll leave that up for, I didn't mean to zoom in. Hold on, y'all. Okay, I was trying to go back to the chat because I saw another question pop up. Computer here. Okay, there we go. Chat. Okay, that's Warshay popping up stuff for the webinars. Thank you for that, because I did not have those links. But yes, please sign up for our next webinar if you still need help with applying to college, or if you didn't do your FAFSA yet, anything like that. We'll be talking about all of that stuff and what you can do, because it's not too late for you. You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
One last pub we want to pub is our SAT prep coming up on March 3rd. You can register for that at sayyesguilford.org/test prep, and that is free. And so that can be used for juniors who may have not taken the SAT yet. I know you all are going to be taking the ACT through the district, but that's an opportunity to help improve your scores, and it is free. And again, I'll type that link in the chat for you to register, but it's sayyesguilford.org/test prep, and Warshay did that for me. So thank you.
Yes, and thank you for mentioning that, Brandy. 11th graders, y'all do have that ACT, that state ACT coming up really soon. So I hope y'all have been preparing for it and feel confident for that free exam coming up soon.